Special edition Panthers Post, Caniacs edition. Yes, it is the NFL draft as well, but the Panthers don't have a first-round pick unless they trade out, which they won't. So let's talk about those cardiac canes. They now have a commanding 3-0 series lead. Teams that go 3-0 up in a 7-game series win the series 98% of the time. I think they have a date with destiny against the New York Rangers at MSG, but let's not get too far right now. They beat the New York Islanders in Long Island 3-2. It was a business trip. It was 100% a business trip. I sweat a little bit. I grabbed my beer with a minute left to go, and I almost finished it because I was stressing out a little bit. The Islanders started to get momentum too late. It was obviously a little bit too late for the Islanders, but it was a workman-like game for the Carolina Hurricanes. Just start off with the defenders with Brett Burns, another Carolina player with the last name Burns. Number almost looks like a 0, like Brian Burns. That he started off the scoring for the Hurricanes. He put them up 1-0, and then soon after that, it was the other defender, Dmitry Orlov, putting them up back-to-back. So the Hurricanes silencing the crowd in New York, in Long Island. Like literally, it sounded like Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. The place was absolutely dead silent. I could hear the pucks hit the sticks. I could hear the skates. I could hear the commands. The place was an absolute church. And then soon after that, there was a little bit of a resurgence from the team, just a bit, with Pierre Engvall finding the back of the net. Shout out to him. He found himself in the middle of open space. They got him open, and then Freddie Anderson, who we're going to talk about, the guy was the MVP. He was the first star of this game, no doubt. But he found the back of the net there to make it a 1-goal game. But then Sebastian Aho does what Sebastian Aho does. He comes up clutch and he fires one, just rifles it, no doubt about it, from distance. He beats Ilya Sorokin. Dude's making like $9 million a year. They were talking about that on the broadcast. They're going to have to make a decision about that. And then this got to be a career low light. The guy's making money, so shout out to him. You're getting the bag, but you get pulled after going down 3-1. It is like midway through the second period. You get pulled by none other than Patrick Waugh. The guy had intense eyes when he was playing for the Colorado Avalanche, Montreal Canadiens. Imagine being a goaltender being pulled by the legend himself. And then they put in Sergei Varlamov, who I think is going to be starting Game 4 Saturday at 2 o'clock for Game 4. He was way more solid. He made it much more of a competitive game. He did not seem as shaky as the other cat, Sorokin. But I thought the Carolina Hurricanes, after that, they fought against the surge that was the New York Islanders late after that, because soon later in the second period, the Islanders and their fans started feeling themselves a little bit. With Brock Nelson finding the back of the net, he just found a quick opening, just kind of slid it in there right behind Frederik Andersen, made it a 1-goal game heading into the third period. But then after that, seems like Rod Brind'Amour just told everybody, play their man-on-man defense, and just told these guys, hey, we're up 2-0. It's a 1-goal lead. Let's keep it that way. Let's give these guys a hell of a time. And I'll be honest, like despite the fact that the Islanders, they tried their absolute damnedest. They had their moments. They outshot the Hurricanes 31-22. Compare that to last game. I think it was 39-12 for the Carolina Hurricanes. There was one moment in the second period that the Hurricanes just were absolutely relentless and just firing the pucks as much as they could at the opposing net. But I think the number one thing what they did there was defensively. They smothered the puck. They did not really give the Islanders any clean looks. They kept hustling them. Even the commentators noticed that the Islanders were absolutely gassed when it absolutely mattered the most. With less than 2 minutes left to go in the game, the Islanders were gasping for air, trying to get the IV, sticking into their thigh. But the cardiac canes, they just came out and they shut them down defensively, and nobody was brighter. No one's shine was brighter than one friggin' Frederik Andersen. The guy was an absolute beast. Now, Sergei Bobrovsky from the Florida Panthers have already gotten some looks with that crazy airborne backflip, backhanded stop against the Tampa Bay Lightning their last game. By the way, they also have a commanding 3-0 series lead right now. But Frederik Andersen, he had what could have been easily an equalizer goal. He would have had this game tied up at 3. He went airborne, and he stuck that mitt up in the air and just caught the puck right out of there and just kept it out from going behind the crease. And he kept this game a 1-goal game, and he calmed the nerves. And I think, well, we already know this. If you watch hockey, like Canadian, so it's kind of in the background at all times, but all you need is a hot goalie. And the teams that are killing it right now have that hot goalie. There's no worry here right now with the Carolina Hurricanes between the pipes. The only worry now in Game 4 is, do you put Frederik Andersen between the pipes yet again? It's a short break, so they got all day Friday off, and then they have to get right back into it Saturday at 2 o'clock for Game 4, which could be the series-clinching, series-defining Game 4, and give themselves an extended break and then wait for the Washington Capitals, New York Rangers series to go on. You know, the Rangers going to D.C. right now, it could be elongated. You never know. But do they either stick with Frederik Andersen or they go Chekhov for Game 4, potentially, who's also solid? The Carolina Hurricanes have a good problem when it comes to the amount of goaltenders they have right now. They can all compete, but right now, you kind of have to, do you ride a hot hand in Frederik Andersen, or do you put Chekhov in there, who is, there's not that much of a drop, to be honest. I thought he played extremely well. I remember when he had the game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it went to penalties, and he saved the day for the Carolina Hurricanes, and they won in the 6th. And so it's not like you're giving away Game 4 and hopefully trying to win. You know, I don't think Rob Brindamore plays those kind of games, you know, almost sacrifice Game 4 to try to win Game 5 back in Raleigh. I don't think that's the case. But back to this game, I think it was a workmanlike situation with all the players there. A little bit of a scare with Seth Jarvis after the first period, going off into the locker room early. Would look like a hand injury. Maybe it was just a stinger, dislocated his finger. They popped it back in. He went out there. As I mentioned before, guy plays football, so he's ready to go. He just, you know, probably put some tape on it. He also plays hockey too. Hockey players are absolutely nuts. Literally, like, dudes never have their full grill by the end of their career. So he went back out there, so that's good to see. It was also good to see, you know, at one point, we had the defenders with Brent Burns and Dmitry Orlov finding the back of the net. Made me wonder, okay, when's the top line going to start doing some things? So it was good to see Sebastian Aho just show that, hey, I'm still the guy. I'm still here, and I score when it matters most. But when it comes to stars, the first star has to go to Frederik Andersen. He kept the Canes in this game when at one point, anytime the Islanders tried to gain momentum, try to get the fans to kind of surge with them and to cheer them on, he absolutely shut it down. He broke hearts, and the amount of montages they had Islanders fans in the stands is absolutely dejected. I'm sure you've seen that Barstool episode, the Barstool video that was making the rounds at the Italian restaurant. It was basically that times 1,000 over in Long Island. So Frederik Andersen, he's number one star. You're the first or last. I'm only giving 1 star. If you want to give consolation, I thought obviously Sebastian Aho was good. I thought Teravainen was absolutely all over the place. Gensel, again, he had 2 assists, so he was good to go as well. The guy is the quarterback of the team. He's kind of like a Bryce Young. If you're a Panthers fan, he's undersized, but he's the quarterback. He kind of just dishes out assists. He's all about that. Svechnikov with 2 assists as well. Teravainen with 1 assist, and it was a team effort. It was a business trip, and I think that Kevin Weeks with the ESPN broadcast, who I gotta say, sounded pretty darn pro Islanders the entire time. They were waxing poetic about the barn, about their efforts, and about their passes, yada yada. But you know, he was talking about how this was a business trip for the Carolina Hurricanes, and so they did that, and they were looking to wrap up the series Saturday, 2 o'clock in New York. And then, you know, I guess you can go get some nice Italian food after that. You can go to Canal Street, get some Italian food, get some Chinese food as well. Just kind of work it off. They earned it. And then wait to see what they might have to stay in New York if they're going to be taking on the Rangers in round 2. But again, one day at a time. We're going to see who they put between the pipes in Game 4 against the Islanders. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What you think about the game? What were you drinking? Whose jersey you're wearing? And yes, shouts to the people watching this. My family's starting to realize now. I did a picture of me and Marty Natchez. By the way, my middle name is Martin. I think there's a reason why I was meant to have this jersey. Now my wife and my brother, my mom is like, oh yeah, you kind of look like that guy I've never seen before. So just call me Marty Natchez of the North, I guess. See you guys soon. Like, subscribe, spread the word.